What you're about to watch is part of an online training that I do twice a month inside my Movement Makers program, where I coach entrepreneurs like you how to build an online movement, how to make money from it, and use it to make a huge impact on the world. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, family, please help me welcome to the virtual stage our man, Evan Carmichael.
Movement Makers, how we doing? Happy Thursday. Great to see everybody back again. Welcome, 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 welcome. Today, we are talking about documenting versus creating. I'm going to talk about where this document versus create comes from Gary Vee, my take on it, how you can get started. So, document versus create. Let's talk about first where it came from. This is a Gary Vee idea. He came up with it just in a random moment in an interview that then became something much bigger, where what he's trying to do, and I agree with this part, is to get people to make. So many of you have a great message, a great mission, something deep inside you, a story to share, and we're just not making enough. We're just not creating enough. And so where he started to fall in with document versus create was, don't stress out about having the perfect version of things. Don't stress out about spending 100 hours on one video. You could document your journey and release that as content. So this is actually what started to help Gary's channel blow up, was when he shifted from just having a regular show. So his YouTube channel used to be his keynote speeches. Then he created the Ask Gary Vee show, which was people asking him questions. And that was, I don't know, maybe once a week. And then it evolved to having his camera guy, D-Rock, come follow him around. And he was just living his day. And then out of each day filmed, an 8, 12, 15-minute video. And so what he's saying is, hey, instead of worrying about creating all the time, these fancy videos, just document your life, document your journey, and that can be content. I am not completely aligned with it as a strategy for you guys. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you the pros and cons, and hopefully guide your content strategy so you can get that message inside you out there to the world. So here's why I'm not a giant fan of it for you. One, it requires a lot more editing. So if you're Gary Vee, you can afford to hire somebody to follow you around and film content for you. That's great. I mean, that's amazing. It's probably not, the people here, right? But how amazing would that be if somebody's following you around and they're going to do the filming and the editing and put it all together and take your, 10-hour day and turn it into an 8-minute video, right? Or 10-minute video. It's a lot harder when it's on your own and requires a lot more editing. So if you think about it, you're filming your progress, you're filming your daily routine, you're filming your process throughout the day, everything you're learning. That's a lot more cuts, a lot more editing, and it often just doesn't train the skill that you want to be great at. Your goal should be to be great in front of the camera, not to be great as an editor. Now, if anybody here, your ambition is to be a great editor, awesome, that can work. But for most of you, your goal shouldn't be to spend 5 hours inside the editing bay cutting clips together. So it's a lot harder when you're doing clips throughout the day or clips throughout multiple days to then splice them together. It's a lot more editing required versus some of the other content models I have talked about and we'll talk about today. The second thing is it's a lot harder to keep track of the story. So if you're filming throughout the day, or if you're filming a challenge throughout multiple days, it can be hard to remember where you left off, where you started, what the last thing you said on camera was, what you said yesterday, because you need to tie a consistent story together, the arc, if you want people to continue to follow along with what you're doing. And then lastly is the videos don't often perform as well. Those kind of videos rarely perform as well as some of the other content formats we've talked about: interviews, direct to camera, mentorship, Q&A. Those kinds of content often perform better than this kind of content unless it's super well edited. So a lot of this falls down to the editing and the ability to bring the stories together into an arc. And that's a lot of work. And maybe it's what you want to do, but probably not for you guys. So in the past, and I love Gary. I had Gary on the channel a month ago talking about book launches. And in our last session, if you guys go back on our session 2 weeks ago, we talked about how to use Instagram Live to be able to create content to get your message out there. I think all of these options are much easier than documenting or creating. I think this is the fastest and easiest way for you to start creating content and get your message out there, because a 25-minute session actually is only 25 minutes. Where to document your day and everything you're doing and then edit that all together is going to take you a lot more than 25 minutes, right? You're looking now at hours. So coaching, mentoring, interviews, Q&A, or using Instagram Lives to do biz dev or reward the people on your team or people who are your customer base. Pablo is saying, but he said that we don't need to make it pretty. Yes. So here's the thing, try it, right? It's really, really, really hard to get that video to do well if you are not editing a journey kind of video, right? So if you're going to document your journey, you could make them as mini thought leadership videos, right? If you took the thought leadership template in Built to Serve and you lead every video with a powerful opinion in what you're going to do, as soon as you start cutting it up over multiple days or even throughout the day, it requires you to now edit those videos together and requires you to remember what you filmed the last time. Right? When I make a thought leadership video now, when I'm doing a coaching, I'm going to do coaching sessions all day long today, right? Interviews and podcasts. Once I'm done one, I'm not thinking about the one I just did, right? I'm moving on to the next one. But when you're doing this kind of storytelling, when you're documenting a journey, you have to remember the last thing that you said. Because if you don't create a story arc for the people watching, they're not likely going to watch the next thing. Like it's harder for them to keep on top. Your hardcore fans and friends and family will watch it, but my goal for you is to reach a brand new audience, and it's just a lot harder. It's not that it's not possible. And if you enjoy this style, go all in and do it. It's just a lot harder on the editing, a lot harder on the storytelling to create the arc, and a lot harder to get the views on the videos. I love Gary, and I love the intent behind the message, which is get content out there. I just think for you, the document version is not your best path in. Just keep in mind, like if this doesn't work for you, if this format feels like it's a lot of work compared to the other content styles, it is. That's okay, right? And pick. There's no one right strategy. It's figuring out the one that's right for you. So document versus create. How to get started. Here's what I would say. This is James Altucher. I don't know if you guys know James or not. He's an awesome author, entrepreneur. I've had him on my show. He was on, I was on his show. And one of the things that he said that really struck with me was, what am I embarrassed to be struggling with? And what am I doing about it? So if you're going to be doing videos, especially documenting videos, you need to have a theme, because just follow me around in my life is not great thought leadership content. If you're really entertaining, you could go be a vlogger, which could be great. And lots of YouTubers have made a ton of money, a lot of reach, a lot of impact making vlogging videos, but it's not thought leadership content. It's not really spreading your message, right? It's entertaining, follow me around, look at my lifestyle, right? For you guys, if you want to teach people, remember, you're a weird duck, right? You think differently than most people think. Your job is to make people think the way you think. If you want to teach people, there has to be some kind of theme to kick this whole thing off. And a great way to do it is, what are you currently embarrassed to be struggling with that someone like you shouldn't be struggling with? Because you have to let me in and know that you're a human, because people want to learn not from the perfect people, because it feels unattainable. They feel too perfect. It's like, well, you don't understand me. And so listen, all of us have insecurities. I have insecurities. You have insecurities. Let me in. Let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know what you're embarrassed by. Let me know what you haven't told other people yet, and then make that public. And that takes courage to do it. But being a leader takes courage. Being a thought leader takes courage. Getting your message out there takes courage. And as long as you are silent on this thing that you're embarrassed by, it perpetuates the silence. By you coming out and saying, I'm going to try to tackle this and change this, then it creates permission for other people to change and to not feel so isolated and alone, right? And your courage in coming forward, you allow other people to feel like they belong a little bit more as well. So this is the theme that I would start thinking about. Like, what are you embarrassed to be struggling with, and what are you going to be doing about it? And this could be, again, if you don't want to do the document version, this is a great single video. This is a great interview. This kind of thinking, if you can think about right now something that you're embarrassed to be struggling with, that's a great piece of content for your social. Your advantage is your humanness. Why people will go with you is because they can relate to you. How do you get them to relate to you? When people say, be authentic, what does that mean? This is what it means. It's being vulnerable, sharing the thing that you're afraid to share. Take me inside The fear. Take me inside. I want to see you saying, I'm afraid to go live. And whatever the voice is in your head, I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like how I look on camera. I don't think anybody's going to watch. I think people are going to watch, right? Whatever the voice is inside your head that other people will be able to connect to, right? It's like, these are the real thoughts in my head that are holding me back. I'm embarrassed to be struggling with this right now. And here's what I'm going to do about it. So you take people on that journey, right? That's a great start. If you want to watch the full version of this video, as well as train live with me twice a month to help you build your movement and be around some other amazing people just like you, check out my Movement Makers program. The link to join is right there next to me. Can't wait to see you there. Continue to believe and go join.